The breaking news that really came out is the HHS has really taken a little bit of a nod from you, the ACLJ supporter, the ACLJ champions, who have been working so diligently on their fight for life. And look, there was a little concern. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. running the HHS, his views on life have kind of gone back and forth. He was at one point very, very pro-choice. Then he said he was kind of convicted, saw what was actually going on, and realized that he needed to adjust his point of view. And of course, he is also fulfilling the Trump administration's policy. But maybe, and not maybe, we know this for sure. I always tell you to visit ACLJ.org, see all the incredible content that's happening here, watch this show, read our blogs, see what's going on. But guess who else was? Some people at the HHS. And they reached out to us, and now they're taking action, Will.
That's right. So yesterday, we get a press release from the Health and Human Services Agency that says HHS acts to protect healthcare workers' conscience rights. And it goes on to talk about an investigation, a compliance review out of the Office for Civil Rights at HHS that is looking into this hospital and investigating their compliance with federal law that safeguards conscience rights in healthcare. The federal conscience protection statute known as the Church Amendments, and the OCR has opened the review based on information that ultrasound technicians employed by the hospital allegedly faced potential termination because they have religious objections to conducting ultrasounds in an abortion procedure. Now, some of you may remember we talked about a case that the ACLJ was handling late last year where we were representing 5 ultrasound techs at one hospital in New Mexico, in Albuquerque. And what they were being told was that they had to assist as ultrasound techs in abortion procedures. This hospital that had previously not performed abortions at all because it had historically religious ties had been bought and sold by several companies over the year. And now this hospital had contracted with a local abortion provider to basically subcontract out abortions. And they were using hospital personnel to assist this abortionist with those procedures. We had clients that came to the ACLJ and said, there used to be conscience protections, but they've amended it to try and force us to assist with this outside provider in his abortion business, his or her abortion business, and we think this violates our constitutional rights. And it did, and we got involved. And we actually got those protections for them. But now there's a new administration in town, and the HHS has launched this investigation based off of our clients' cases that we handled for them.
It's really amazing. Again, based on the support from the ACLJ and the ACLJ team and our incredible team, whether that's the media team or the legal team, the HHS is taking direct action because of us, because of you. Someone at the HHS went to ACLJ.org, heard about what we were doing, read the article, reached out and said, we want to get involved. What can we do? Give us some more information. And then they launched this. And it's unbelievable. Again, take this as a big win as the HHS has launched this investigation into hospitals. Again, because we said, hey, we were defending 5 medical professionals from being forced to participate in abortions to not violate their conscience. And here we are.
That's right. So what happened in this case for the ACLJ is that a hospital in Albuquerque, New Mexico, early 2024, signed an agreement with a local abortionist where they could refer to this abortionist for abortions, and this practitioner, this abortionist, would use hospital resources in those abortion procedures, such as using ultrasound techs for assisting in the procedure of abortion. And we had clients that reached out to us because they stated their objection over their conscience rights, which are well established in U.S. precedent, in law, Civil Rights Act, and they basically were told by the hospital that they had seen that while previously this hospital had strong conscience protections in their policies, they had kind of shifted it to make it where there could be loopholes. And our clients were basically faced with either violate their conscience and be tasked by the hospital with assisting in abortions or lose their employment. That was basically the choice that our clients had to make. But they reached out to the ACLJ. We represented 5 different ultrasound techs that did not want to participate in abortions, that wanted to claim their conscience protections. We fought back. We were able to cite law under this Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, as well as the FDA versus Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine. There's that allows doctors and other healthcare personnel to refuse to perform or assist in abortion without punishment or discrimination from their employers. That's a Supreme Court opinion. And we actually got the hospital to cave for our clients. They granted full religious accommodations to each of our clients.
Great.
But it didn't stop there, because we know that this was growing under the Biden administration. We had hospital workers in Kentucky and other places of the country that you wouldn't necessarily expect to have this kind of issue. So we know that this was not a priority of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Health and Human Services. But now there's a new administration in town, Logan.
Times have changed. That's right. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, their Office for Civil Rights, has now launched a formal compliance review of Presbyterian's hospital's actions. So to find out how it happened, what had happened, and the review is determined whether the hospital violated federal conscience protection laws, including the church amendments. HHS's review follows the ACLJ's legal complaint. Of course, like I said, they reached out and wanted more information from us. And this is the impact of the organization. I can't undersell it or oversell it enough. The ACLJ is involved in so many different things, and our website is so important. And that's why our content, I always say, it's not behind a paywall. You have to log in to read it. Because if you did, guess what? This HHS employee probably never saw it.
You know, I think there was a grant for an ACLJ
membership
paywall like there was for, Politico Pro, Reuters, millions of dollars a year for that.
So instead, we rely on places like Google News, or maybe you go to aclj.org directly. And this is the impact. They are taking it on themselves to figure out what happened here. And of course, they've reached out to our team, and it's just amazing. It's such a change. And again, I can't help but just really encourage you all to keep supporting the work of the ACLJ. You may say, well, now you have a friendly administration, and of course you're going to work with you. Yeah, but these are the moments. Because now, instead of being completely on the defense, we can actually make some offensive actions. We actually can get things done and moved forward with a friendly administration. And again, this is coming from RFK Jr.'s HHS. Someone that a lot of people in the pro-life movement thought, this guy is not going to be good for the lives of the unborn. But you know what? I got to give him props. We got to give him props. And though I don't know his direct involvement in this, we do know it's coming from his department. And that's a pretty miraculous thing. And that's showing that he's also changing some hearts and some minds and supporting a vision of a pro-life America, which is something that I don't know a decade ago, 5 years ago, even since the overturning of Roe, that you would have thought that this is where we'd be. And thankfully, we are now seeing these protections coming in from the federal government, stepping in, working with the ACLJ, reading our content, basing their investigations off of our clients and the work that we've done. Folks, this is incredible. So if you've ever thought about working or they're donating to the ACLJ and being a part of this and becoming a champion, or you've always worried that maybe that we're not doing what we say we do, or maybe we don't do enough, look at this. The proof is right in front of you.
Well, and there are other implications in this as well. One, it is also key to remind the audience, the members, the champions of ACLJ, that not only does our legal work matter, but this broadcast, our writing on our website, all of those things are a key component in how this action takes place, because we can do the legal work and have great success. But it's also that public advocacy angle that caused this to not just be a win for 5 hospital workers in New Mexico. And that is a great win. That's really important for them. They get to keep their job and not have to violate one of their deeply held beliefs about the sanctity of life and not having to perform abortions. But when the Department of HHS gets involved, here are some things that also happen. It sets national precedent that every hospital, every provider that may think about, under the last 4 years, we could get away with a lot. Because you know what the Civil Rights Office at HHS...
could get away with murder.
Literally, and forcing people to participate in that. And they may have thought, because the Civil Rights Office was not concerned with the conscience protections of Christians, of conservatives, of those that have pro-life values under the Biden administration. Actually, those protections were weakened under the Biden administration. But this new precedent puts all these providers on notice, all the ones that we have to go toe-to-toe with and say, cut it out, or we're going to federal court and let these people remain employed and provide the service to you, that if you do this, you're getting a federal investigation. We're not messing around. We're not the previous administration, as well as it also reaffirms that these conscience protections are going to be upheld. They are going to be viewed, rightly so, as the law of the land. And that's going to also help people get better care.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
They're not concerned about losing their job over being forced to participate in procedures that they hold a deeply held conviction against performing.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Secular program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.